unscheduled start of things. So, currently in front of me here, I got basically what I call the personal bike, my Raphael, my 95 Huffy Mountain Series. Just replaced the bottom bracket bearing, making sure it's perfect and ready to ride evermore. Otherwise, completely mechanically perfect, minus the rear wheel. Here, we got Harley Quinn, the research and development bike that you have seen in previous videos. It has not moved since the spindle broke off this, and in which I did a bottom bracket replacement along with the spindle that we found, that me and my friend Ignacio found off of a bike that we guessed that was from like the 1960s at least, but damaged. But this part was not. So, long story short, this is back up to 100% minus a rear wheel, which brings us to what I'm doing today, which is hopefully creating some rear wheels out of the parts I got. Now, right off the bat, we've got ourselves a rim and a spindle that basically, once I spoke, will be rideable and ready to go. This spindle actually came off of the research and development bike, so I feel largely obligated to put it back on this bike and carry as we do. So, in between all this, that will be one project that we are doing. Secondly, well, I'm getting this ready because this is the next thing I want to do. But, secondly, I'm going to go through these rims, see which ones are worth rebuilding, which ones are not, and harvesting the spokes to take the rear spindle that was originally on Raphael, that's been off of Raphael for at least the last 5 years, and put it back on. So, that's what we're getting ourselves into today. Nothing too crazy with everything. Just, a little bit of love and everything and so forth. What I've always affectionately called kind of like, the sinful rim or the devil's rim or whatever, because everything on this bike, or everything on this rim, went horribly long for the longest time. And I have to actually make an admission now that technically there were some spokes that were really busting a lot of the tubes on this rim, so I can't purposely blame everything on it. However, basically one of the capping washers has removed itself completely from existence. I don't even know the size of it. Oh yeah, there we go. Basically chewed itself up. Don't know if that's showable right at the moment. So, even though this rim is still good, I just don't know if I have the washers to even try to fix this thing at the moment. Oh yeah, here we go. There's some parts coming out from it all. What's left of the washer? So my plan is to just deflate the tire and put it on one of the next rims. But just like all the others, yeah, we still got bearings popping out. Probably from the other side, actually. But, long story short, it's done. So, basically I'm left with 3 rim axles. I kind of have to rebuild. But, I'm going to build 2, because I can't make it to Home Depot to even try to come up with a MacGyver solution to fix it without being able to ride there and get the piece myself. So, kind of what we're in at the moment. But otherwise, pretty good morning. Basically doing the boring stuff. Often get asked, how do I afford everything? It's because I find stuff laying around and I reuse it. I'm a huge proponent on if it ain't broken, don't fix it. It's just because I have loyalty in those weirdest ways most of the time. Try to figure out what else is keeping this in here. However, this one has a good washer on this end, so I'll be able to take that one to the hardware store and figure out what's going on. And is there a particular reason? Okay, I see. Well, the one master bolt's in here, and they can hang out. But, as we digress, let me switch everything around, since getting the air and that tire off at the moment is not a necessary avenue. What is necessary is getting these spokes off of these rims. Again, this one actually still put together on one side, but completely hollowed out on the other. So again, another one that I think is pretty much straight the last time I checked. No, it ain't. But if I remember right, this is the one that's sort of rusted. No. This is the one I want to harvest stuff off of anyways. So, we get to get that done. This is the rim that's rusted, but it's actually still straight. We already took the axle out, so we're not going to get much love for it. But I'm going to leave this one be, just because. Yeah, this is one of the rustier ones, so we'll get that done. This is an air tube that had a pop, and I was saving just in case I needed rubber for something, like sealing a door in extreme heat. Can't remember if this guy's done. This lay flat. Nope. So yeah, that's one of the ones that are done. Put this guy over here. Going through everything. I'd be able to bend it back kind of thing, but might just recycle it anyways. So I should put the wrong rim in the wrong place. So like I said, harvesting off of this rim, keeping that one put together. Oh, basically reuse these in a good matter of a way, kind of thing. So long story short, just tedious work. About going the distance sometimes. How about we loosen? It's a novel idea. There we go. Yeah, because if I remember right, this one got bent. I got pushed off the road from a car. In a section of the road where there wasn't any sidewalks, which is always funny. Don't know why you're more aggressive when there's no sidewalks to be like, get on the sidewalk. Provide one, and I will. Don't got a death wish. I don't want to be dealing with all you guys with your Napoleon complexes and anger management issues. How the sight of someone on a bicycle ruins your whole day. So, but basically got, 30 plus new spokes to use. So, it's okay. Typically, I'm always harvesting parts off of any bike. That's how I got extra derailleurs and everything else. Anything I've seen someone thrown away, kind of strip the bike and take the good parts and leave the carcass behind kind of thing. Maybe a bit of Native American-ish, but, I got a soft spot, like I said, a loyalty. You gotta think about what these bikes give us with all the freedom they provide. However, it should all work out. It's a sunny day here in Houston, and I'm taking this indoor time to work on this. Actually been off the bike for, a day or two, and not necessarily like I'm ready to get out and do miles, but I would like to run down to the corner, to the grocery store and back, or the corner store and back, so that would be lovely. Now, if you're wondering about the spokes, if you got to, for each one on each side, if they unloosen a certain way, it's no. It's the same all the way around. Whew. Some of these, though, are tough. I might have even had to have, probably suggestively, at least loosen these up with a little WD or HP blaster and stuff, or PB blaster, HP blaster. Oh, man. All the things you gotta remember in the world. But I'm using, at the moment, a 14 millimeter setting to get all these off. Usually between 12 and 15 millimeter is what you need to tighten and loosen most spokes. But like I said, this is just tedious. And this rim was already damaged anyway, so I'm not too heartbroken about it. I know on the next two rims they are, but the wheel in the back, if it's viewable, is the one that originally came on Raphael. So, absolute fun. Nothing too bad. But either way, by the end of this live stream, I'm hoping to have one wheel completed before I take a break and use the bathroom or whatever I'm going to be doing. But a lot of people will be surprised. And then for whatever reason you're not loosening, which I don't like. I mean, I could just take the screwdriver, get it from the top, but I like to try to give it a sec to do its own thing. No, that one's out. Okay. Just like on a test, don't know it, skip it. Spam callers, not today. Also, if you ever have to deal with spam callers, just start saying you're a business. They immediately leave you alone. See, this one's loosening up righteously. And then by the end of this, I think the rim is done. It looks like I rode. I think this is one of the ones where the tire went flat and I rode it to the bus stop kind of thing. So it's pretty much chopped up by the asphalt. At least we'll have some heavy duty spokes. And all done and everything and so forth. But nothing too bad. But you gotta love the day. Appreciate the support. Love you guys. Ugh. Hellos from wherever you're at. Common question would be, why don't you just buy new spokes? Well, you provide me a company that can provide some that can handle American seasons, and I have no problem abiding. Because this dude will abide. If you make a product that works, like my WTB Velociraptor tires that I've used for 20 years, basically, I have no problem being a repeat customer and coming back and giving my support time and time again. I also know being a 200-pound man, I'm asking a lot for spokes. And especially when you pack on 50 pounds extra weight, whether it be guitars or a backpack loaded with stuff or even groceries. You're asking a lot. So where pretty much my only conclusion that if I can't figure out a way of stop snapping everything when I'm riding, is just getting motorcycle spokes and, you know, drilling out the size holes and putting them in. Because, yeah, I don't know what else to do other than call Harley Davidson and ask for some spokes of a very peculiar size for them to go, what are you building? Yeah, because that's where I'm at, honestly. I have not been able to find anything that is available to purchase the work. Nor have I found anything stateside that makes parts like this. Including the tool to take off the cassette, which is another name for the gears, and you're wondering why it's called a cassette. Anyone who lived in the 80s, these cassettes look just like the wheels in literally the cassette decks. And that's because instead of gears, where the teeth go perpendicular, the teeth on a cassette, well, it's not perpendicular and all that and vertical, but either way, basically they go the same travel length as that. But that's the difference between gears and cassettes. Just where the teeth lie. There's also different types as well. I think there's 5 overall, but so the cassette and the gear is just 2 out of the 5. Not 100%, not looking up the information at the moment either, so but making it work. And a lot of you might be asking, why aren't you using flathead screwdriver to speed up the process? I kind of want to save some of these nipples, which is what the part that clamps onto the spoke is called, in case you ever need them. So if you chew them all up, kind of thing, sort of aspect, make it work. Neighbor's doing something with the bed. Don't know what they're up to. Oh, I can see everything. But I don't know. Pretty good day. I know it's in the 90s here, and I always say the feels like temperature is 10 degrees more, because regardless of whatever they say, it's just hot regardless. But we are officially in August, September of Texas, which is where we are expected to be hot. And as I've said before, it's so hot, I'm not wearing a shirt till November. So, sorry for anyone who's offended. Who has PTSD at the sight of a shirtless man, but it's too hot. can't respect your wishes and be a clothed, civilized animal at the moment. It's about self-preservation and survival. So with the dollar Frosties and the cup of ice is for 53 cents from 7-Eleven and stuff. I don't know what to tell you. Especially with everyone ripping out trees, there's no shade anywhere. And with the fact that there's no trees, there's nothing to actually lower the core temperature of the surface. How it goes. And that is a eBay order. Second one of the week, but nothing bad. Making it all fun. Otherwise, we've at least gotten halfway through the wheel. We're not slowing down at all. We got 3 more wheels of doing this, so. Like I said, I'm not only harvesting parts, but I'm getting rid of the clutter. I feel like when there's just so much you can't think, especially the way I live, I don't want my home to be as cluttered as the outside world, so kind of on a Steve Jobs thing, I guess, but I got stuff, but I don't have more than I need. But clutter will get to me. I didn't understand it as a child when my mother was hammering it into my head. If it doesn't, gotta clean it out. But the Fortress of Solitude, having it clean and organized, really helps with the mental state. And right now, with laundry complete, where I only have 2 dirty shirts and 2 dirty shorts, dishes are completely washed. Other than needing to get food, the house is completely clean, front to back, even did the baseboards. Looking at this pile of everything over here really bothered me. So, I'm at least tearing apart 3 of these rims to help make it less cluttered. Ooh. Alright, that one completely broke off. But it's okay. Technically, I guess I'm only saving the hub and the axle from this, and the spokes. I don't need anything else. So if a couple break along the way, that's fine. Perfectly fine. But, I don't know, I'm tenacious and brave. And I'm an entrepreneur at start. Mechanically minded and an inventor. This is the little tedious things that people don't know in your day when they sit there and want to imagine and count your pockets. You don't realize this part, where you're just making it work, making it jump either way. And if I was to put an actual cost on the collection of all this, it's probably under $200. So, saving myself $200 by a little bit of 30 minutes to an hour of elbow grease. I really don't expect this to take too long. Probably take longer than I think. Though, I get to work on my dead air training. So we'll see how well I do. Whether I'm good or not. However, I am a presenter at heart. So if you need anything done, selling houses, need someone to walk and talk, and doing the research of your property, seeing if anyone famous lived there, or what interesting companies might live by that contributed to the reasoning of the home's existence. Even used car sales. Pretty knowledgeable fellow. Otherwise, just enjoying the day. We're getting into the peak of the heat of the day where you want to stay inside, so you do not want to move around. Especially when it gets hotter, the automobile drivers get a lot more testy. So you just kind of want to stay out of their way. Especially like, I think in an hour or two all the kids get out of school, so talk about parents being stressed out and just people being tired of everything. I did find it interesting that immediately with the closure of the 12 schools that they only mentioned a couple of months ago, that already 9 of them are listed for sale. I do find that interesting. Not only are people driving extra and having to spend more time in traffic and going to and from places, but the ones that shut down the buildings can't wait to make a sale on them. And that comes out to a real question, at least for the research and how do I put it? Especially for the research and development department, if you can. Whether you hit us at our email at mudinc@hsj@gmail, or write in the comments or direct messages wherever you choose. I've opened up communication channels everywhere, so write what you want. Tell us what you think the school buildings will be used for. I think about all the building access and all that. Obviously, luxury apartments or luxury studio apartments, kind of like how they done off of Runnels, where it's like big room stuff. You know, just sort of thinking about what to do with those old buildings. I would say community centers of some sort or whatever. But you know, making them offices don't seem operable when we have enough office park real estate here, and a bunch of buildings that already could be used. So I feel like housing instantly becomes an option. I take to local architecture of the Jefferson Davis Hospital that was constructed kind of around 1900s, but it really only lasted for about 10 or 20 years before the 1930s, in which the medical needs of the city already outpaced the hospital's capacity. If you're wondering where this building is I'm talking about, it's right behind Amtrak, believe it or not, or the Church of Glacia. If you look that up, you can get it going. It's off of that Gerard Street. It's the only way to get to it now. I think about what they did and how they turned those old hospital buildings or old hospital rooms into apartments. I still think the furnace stacks that burnt all the medical clothing and waste and who knows what else is still standing there, but maybe that could be a proper tomb nonetheless. Yeah, I just think about what you can turn these buildings into if you're selling them, because a lot of them are of 1890s to 1960s stone architecture, strong buildings. Especially anything built around the 50s or 60s, it would have had the added retention strength for the nuclear or the Cuban missile crisis. So, you know what I mean? It just brings curiosity to the mind. What could we turn those old buildings into? Can we even remove walls without them being structurally integral to everything? A lot of good questions. I don't know if I have the answers, but a lot of good questions. I've been sitting here trying to think of, other than clearing out the properties and letting them sit vacant for 5 to 10 years before they build something on them. Been trying to honestly think what they can do with those buildings without, major construction. Like, what can you do? Go in, like, in terms of refabbing, flooring, ceiling, mold removal, asbestos removal, pipe and electrical updating. What can you do with those old school buildings? Really is a good question now, I'm telling you. Whether I understand it or not, I'm just thinking. Because usually it's homes or something like that, but because if you think about a classroom being about 40 feet by 50 feet, if we just take that measurement of, 250 square feet. No, it ain't. Yeah, it is. Yeah, 200 square feet. 40 by 50. Or no, it's 2,000 square feet. Either way. All you can really do is build a bathroom and then, you can keep it open floor layout. I don't think it's smart to put all these walls up for a one bedroom. Unless you need that wall of seduction for your personal life. Yeah, I just sit there and just try to think about, after learning that today, I've been running it through my head. What can we turn those old buildings into? If we do turn them into housing, is it luxury housing? Or if you do demolish it, do you outright clean the land and rebuild on it? I think out of one of those school properties, it'd be cool if someone built it and turned it into a community art center, where art could be on the outside and the inside of the buildings, to where, each room could be like a study hall. Like a clay room, a drafting room, a couple painting rooms. Anything with sculptures and heavy equipment and all that you can put outside or in the lower levels. But, you could say, oh, turn it into housing for, the homeless or the unemployed and everything. The rejects, the unwanted American citizens. But we know there's no profit in that. So, capitalism before the law. Even though humans have a right to food, shelter, and water, we have found a way to put a price tag on all of it. So was that 2 spokes that refused to leave? Kind of. Okay, now he's coming undone. We're still at 2 troublemakers, which is okay. Gained about 36, or was it 2 broke? Well, probably gonna be 2 or 3 broken ones. What was it? 1 broken one so far. So we at least got over 30 spokes, adding into the inventory to keep everything running. So that's always a lot of fun. So far, my hands aren't destroyed from doing all this. But it is just 1 rim. But this is the dirtier and older ones. This came off of a parts bike, grabbed off the side of the road kind of thing. I don't know, if you looking through dumpsters or whatever, you see people throw stuff away all the time. As we say, one man's trash is another man's treasure. And for me, a jack of all trades, if I got the tools, I can build anything. I got the drive and the imagination, that's not the issue. Supplies and tools, that's the other one. Ugh. Oh yeah, a lot of people ask why don't I do powered bikes this or you know, anything else. The only thing I'd be interested in making is a bicycle with solar panels on it that could run off of like a cordless drill motor kind of thing that I've seen people doing. Otherwise, I don't like being tethered to the wall. You know, it's not fun riding around with a noose or based on an electrical battery. Because then I also don't trust water, and I don't know, there's a lot of reasons why I'm against it. And for me, again, that's another cost. You have to sit there and pay for charging, or your electrical bill goes up because of it, right? As with this, it only requires the horsepower of your body, which is the food you're already putting into your body. So basically, you get a transportation, or basically you get free transportation out of the food that you're already, spending money on. So, it's like eliminating 3 categories of budgeting by using only 1 category of budgeting. Granted, I probably go through 200 to 300 parts a year with bicycle stuff. But you gotta listen to the universe and the almighty provider and creator. When they tell you to sit down and reflect and, take care of your home, you do. None of this rushing saying, I gotta get to work. That job ain't loyal, so why be loyal to it? When nature and everything else is loyal to you if you treat it well. That's all I'm saying. Oh, that's why it's good to treat people like humans. The golden rule, treat others how you want to be treated. If anyone has been watching this whole time, how's my dead space commentary working? Making sure that there's nothing of silence going on. I think I probably have a minute or 2 of dead air. Where am I at? 1, 2. Okay, so 3 spokes left on this guy. Should work out nicely. So basically for the past kind of year or so, I've been doing research on the delivery apps, figuring this and that out and everything and so forth. So I figured I'd give some updates to people who don't know. On the delivery apps that you use every day, they do now allow the delivery people to record their whole session, or basically the whole time they're clocked in to when they're clocked out. So that means they see everything going on in the restaurants, they see everything going on when they're delivering the food. So it's not just people at their homes being caught lying, say the food ain't there, or whatever disagreement might need to come up, or whatever, but they're now catching everything the restaurant people are doing. So if you sit there and ignore the driver or whatever, or anything like that, even though I find it hysterical that they have basically veto powers to a business owner in a weird way, to where they can bitch at the business owner, and then the business owner bitches at his workforce, I do find it interesting. But they are recording all aspects of it, so just be wild, just be careful out there. a lot of that stuff will come back to haunt you. And they're even paying in some instances to record your whole trip and so forth. I run a 2-camera system, so that way the battery ain't being killed in both devices simultaneously if you feel my drift. But typically, I believe in the golden rule. Treat others how you want to be treated. If you're nice to me, I'm not going to tell anyone that happens. Treat me less than human, I'm a pretty vindictive fellow. Under the assumption if I'm not allowed to work, you're not allowed to work. That's not works for me. But as I've always said before, when I be doing the bicycle deliveries, I count it as my time in the gym. And bicycle deliveries is the only gym that pays you. I have not found another gym that'll pay you to work out. So that's the way I look at it. 3 or 4 hours a day. Hell, I've even done like 10 hours, you know, on my really lucid days, right? Kind of just have nothing going on. We're just waiting for the next contract to come in. Like to write up a business proposal or a loan statement kind of thing. But it all works out. Is this a 15 randomly in all this? What is this? Alrighty. The 2 spokes refuse to leave. So we get to use. Ta-da! The Phillips. The Phillips! Coming together. Oh, but truthfully later, you're going to be seeing artwork. I wanted to do it now, but I couldn't relax enough to do art for the next 8 hours, knowing that none of these bikes are working. Especially since I wanted to go to HEB, so I need at least 1 working rim. And then, not only are you going to get artwork, but I'll do a nighttime bed story where I will be reading tonight from The Homeless Sea Creatures. So enjoy! Should be fun. And then yeah, otherwise, I'm just sitting here getting funds up. Found a way to self-publish. So I just got to get the money to pay the people to print the book, and the first book of the HSE will be for sale and available. Otherwise, yeah, I get like shirts and hats and stickers made as well. That way, if I sell a book in the meantime, I could at least sell all the merchandise stuff that would come with the book later with a purchase once I have it all in stock. So that's the plan. I already have your shipping address, so you'll just get a random package from me one day with all the swag from your first book purchase. But that's the plan. Try to get up 1,000 or 2 by the end of the year. Are you gonna loosen up on me or what? Come on. There we go. I was about to say, you're just spinning in circles. Ain't nothing happening. Whew. It's almost up. Golly. At least this is the hardest rim of all the rims. The others should come right out. So I ain't worried about any of that. Is this still spinning? There. Don't need this spoke. I do want it out. Alright. So we probably got at least 33 spokes out of this wheel. So that's okay. Other than all the grease on my hands, but from the tools I used during the bearing replacement, and then Raphael still being greasy. You coming undone at all? That's a light. I don't even think I got a good wire clipper out. I don't. That's annoying. Let's see. There we go. My goodness. Well, ain't you a stubborn ass? Already like you. So, I'm pretty sure this room is cooked. But let's go ahead and see. Okay. We got bonus points. So that rim works. So it can be reused. So there we go. Maybe even giving credence to my boy being like, oh, you don't need to take it apart. Yeah, I do. Yes, I do. Always keep a clean work area as well. I know it don't seem like I'm organizing anything, but there kind of is chaos over here. Basically, it's spoke and axle parts just hanging out. And I broke that one for no reason. Probably could bend it back and reuse it, but it's already structurally compromised. But for me, I break the spokes at the heads. This part. That's where I always break them. That's how I ended up doing it. So, I've never broken a spoke in the middle. I've had them break at the nipple, but mainly at the hub. That is kind of weird how that one is. I don't know, I felt like I showed that one off and it was wobbly. But also, if you noticed how hard of a time I had with tightening and loosening the nipples, it's kind of a good thing. To put on some fresh ones and make it usable. Obviously the hubs are still bulletproof and everything. But it'll just go in my box of things. As I keep all these axles, which is like 3 or 4 of them. But I don't know, I got a working washer on the one that I could take to Home Depot and see if I could figure out what it is I need to grab in the long run. Basically, crude bearing. That should work out. And that's the other good thing too, is like these spokes are really tough. I don't know if they're 15 gauge, 14 gauge, or what, but I'm happy at least. I see spare parts. And I see less mess in front of me, which is just beautiful. So it all should work out, really. And then, of course, I'll show you what soap I use to get all this crap off my fingers and keep it from transferring from the artwork. And that's the other thing, too. Knowing I was going to have to get my hands dirty anyways. And everything, so before touching the artwork again, having all the vehicle grease get smeared on it, you know, quite blatantly. I don't mind there being weird residue that they look up years later being like, oh, he had axle grease on his fingers when he worked on his art, kind of thing. But like I said, this is just tedious. It's not necessarily hard. Overall tedious. So I don't know, it's cool. So I know right off the bat I got 2 working rims. I know the next 3 rims are going to be busted. The one I'm probably going to keep for sentimental reasons since it was part of Raphael's original setup. Everything else is kind of like, don't need you. So, how it goes. But I get to add some parts into the parts bin where I got brakes, derailleurs, and everything else sitting ready to go. I do need to buy some more brake cables. I think I got enough clutch cables, but I'll still buy both at once. So that'll be a purchase I'll try to make here in the next 2 to 3, or next 2 weeks kind of thing. Probably cost me $40-50. But that's a purchase worth doing new and everything. So far, I can find those parts in the U.S. So, and they haven't let me down. So, kind of one of the weird things that automakers learned is steel across the world behaves differently because of different, obviously, atmospheric conditions, this and that, and everything. Also goes into a bit of the, the conspiracies of why Toyotas are all rusty, kind of thing. But yeah, I don't know if you can see that too well, but everything inside should look like that. Nice and complete. But everything inside's gutted out. So, I don't know, I already feel better. It feels less hectic over here, so that's pretty cool. So, let's count. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 100, 101, 102, 103, 104, 105, 106, 107, 108, 109, 110, 111, 112, 113, 114, 115, 116, 117, 118, 119, 120, 121, 122, 123, 124, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Haha! I knew I was getting 30 out of this one. 31, 32, 33, 34, 35. And then what was it? Maybe 2 spokes? Maybe 1 spoke? Maybe it was just that 1 spoke. I probably could have gotten all of them. Now I put a couple over here too, so it's probably like 38. But Vamonos! I will cheat at the moment and jump to this rim, which is Raphael's original rear rim. And it's still absolutely perfect. It's a little bent, but it's still stronger than anything else. Why I stopped using this one will be kind of apparent. Kind of bent. I know it was one of the things that I just kept breaking stuff on. Yeah, here's a good example. See the nipple's still on? The head's broken off. And that's how I break all these bikes. Essentially. That word used to annoy me too, but it's only because I worked with someone who used it for every answer they ever gave. Especially yes or no answers. You ask him a yes or no question, he goes, essentially. Just wanted to rip out his fucking eyes every time. And it'd be like a question like, do you want a hot and spicy or not? And it'd be like, essentially. No or yes. And this is back when hot and spices were 99 cents. Like, so was his answer essentially, if they're 99 cents, I'll have a hot and spicy. So, how it goes. But I am kind of excited. Maybe that is how this should go. Their bikes being reunited with their actual hubs. Harley Quinn getting its ass back, and Raphael getting his ass back. Because this one I rebuilt and I really thought it was nice. It was just so smooth. Yeah, maybe I can make it. It'd be crazy if the original one gets put back on after all this. Oh, that's an interesting wobble. That's a kinky wobble. Yeah, I just remember when I rode this, it was, what was it? It was like 5 spokes broke out once, and I got mad and I never used it again. Where it was around like 2022 or something. So, 4 years I've refused to acknowledge this thing, thinking it was completely lost. I don't know. This rim's bad. But the hub is strong and will work. So, I'm cool with that. I might keep the rim hanging on the wall, you know, as a moniker of ha 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 ha. But I at least feel better about that. Yeah, Raphael, that's awesome. Well, then there's a part of me that's just like, okay, let me go harvest the parts from this thing while I'm at it. Because this thing is done. So, the hub is great, but the rim is gone. So, pretty much get rid of that. Might get that from Nigel Farage. Like, that one's not that bent. I bet I can fix it. I just don't know about it. I don't know. I'm kind of excited. There's something cool. There's progress being made. Progress and perfection, although I'm happy with just progress. Because, yeah, this is the thing. This was the original gears on Raphael, too. Trying to figure out. Might still be fun. I know on this one it will hop off of a gear. And I have taken this out manually before I got the actual proper tool to take one of these cassettes out, which is this guy. Basically, for the Park Tool Company, an FR7 if you need one. They get off the American Bike cassettes. I always felt like there wasn't enough bearings in here, but maybe there is. I don't know. There might be some cool things happening and I just don't realize it. This will go back into the parts bin, I guess, because I need to get that one thing off. But yeah. I don't know. I know I need to take apart this front, so let's see if we can do it quickly. This front actually came off of the Harley Quinn Research and Development bike, and I've since upgraded it with a stronger rim, with stronger spokes. And like I said, this one just got bent. I ended up crashing. It's one of those weird things where I was trying to avoid getting run over, and I basically had to, I remember it so well. I jutted to the right. The car mirror clips my elbow. That elbow motion causes my wheel to cut back, and that cutting back sent sent me into a curb and just damaged this thing. I was so mad, but I was also lucky to be alive, so did not care. I don't want this making a mockery of me after I said this would be easy to get out. Thought this should be fun. Okay, that's what it was. I thought it wasn't grabbing, and it wasn't. It was just in the wrong position. It's okay. And so again, we'll have 36 spokes out of this wheel, which I can use. There's a part of me that really wants to try using the old rim off of Raphael, and I just know I can't. Just like how I know I can't use the front rim off of Raphael, because it's bent. But I still have the original axle hub too. But I ended up buying that wheel new from a factory maker. There's actually one company in the United States, I think they're out in Virginia is where that one came from, where they still make wheels at least. They could probably sell spokes too. It's one of those weird things where you buy something from years ago and you're not sure if you ever need to talk to them again kind of thing. But luckily they're still selling stuff. So there is a U.S. manufacturer at least making front rims and rear rims, which I assume are being used to fill out other people's bikes, which is cool. I know in Pittsburgh they have a bicycle museum where they produce their own parts and everything and so forth as well. Other than that, I don't know any other place in the U.S. where you can get bicycle parts. Not a day with that. But one of those weird things is, especially in these moments, you can definitely feel the heat radiating from outside. That's for damn sure. Oh wow, I can even see the broken spokes out of this thing too. Be funny if the one's in my hand. It is actually. So basically, I hit the curb, broke 2 spokes, and that's what ended this guy's illustrious career. I guess 3 of them. Okay. I just didn't want to break the reflector. I was gonna try to reuse it, honestly. So, all right. Because the hub is good, yeah, the rim just got bedangled. I guess now I have more of a question, which one's getting which rear rim? That one matches the aesthetic of, actually that one is the same one as the front, so I guess that will go back to Harley Quinn. And then I'll give that rim to Raphael to match the chrome work on. I was trying to do matching chrome rims on there. Seems funny that somebody that doesn't care about all that, actually trying to put a little aesthetic and style. But this is Houston. Gotta have it. Gotta have it. A lot of people don't know. They used to walk around in top hats and umbrellas. Still got the umbrellas. But the top hat is turned into a ball cap. But actually a bit of a fashion capital in itself back when the textile fabric was being made and sent out of here to all the other suppliers of the country. But hey, how it goes. But yeah, otherwise I think I'm doing pretty well with the dead air. Not too bad. I know there I had a thought, but how it goes. Oh, that's what he's doing. The neighbor's building a bed. That's pretty cool. I just realized that ain't coming out of that hub either, so that spoke will stay connected, which I think would be cool. At least I'll know where Harley Quinn's original hubs are. There's something poetic about that. But yeah, I'll put the more chrome on Raphael, keeping the aesthetic. Since that one's got a black and chrome look, I'll put the black and chrome rim on it. And then yeah. Okay, so yeah, those two will be built. And then I'll have, hopefully, after going to the store, I can rebuild. Yeah, hopefully after the store I can rebuild that. And I'll have 2 extra rear rims. So in a weird way, it's like I've lost 3 rims, but I'm still at 4 when I started off this adventure this year with 5 rims. So, not sure how that math works. Somewhere I gained stuff, but not sure where. But all in a day. Later, I'm going to be on the music channel doing music stuff as well. And then in the evening, I'm going to pop back on this channel. Do some cool art and story time with you guys. So, if this ain't putting your mind into a fancy, I don't blame you. It's tedious work that no one likes. But I'm quite good at it. Otherwise, it is nice out. It's just hot. Even me sitting right here in this corner of the room, I feel like the sweat coming off of my brow. Oh my goodness, I'm not even halfway through. But it is going smoothly at least. Hopefully this will bounce out. Since that rim's barely not put together, putting it on a rim should be good. Okay, I'll tell you what, I'll do that one first. Well, I don't know, I haven't written Harley Quinn in a minute. Might be fun to do that one. Give Raphael a moment to breathe. Plus, I haven't tested that bike since it broke. It's still at 4,000, what is it? 4,150 miles? Yeah, it's like that. Either 4,175 miles or 4,150 miles is where that's at. I gotta do like 100 more miles before I could do a mileage update on the Huffy Granite 26. So, if you're wondering where she's been, right there, waiting for me to get a rear rim together for it. Otherwise, I've had that 80s fantasy of finding like, you know, like the 3-spoke solid rims. I always thought it'd be cool to do a white one on that one or something, but it's all good. But yeah, this is just tedious work. And like I said, I'm not just going to use the screwdriver and rip out these nipples because you're going to need them later kind of thing. But it's going well. It's taking forever, but it is going well. That's good moments to have to yourself. Plan out stuff. Like for me, I'm planning out the next HSC comic. Right now I'm finishing up day 11 with a drone patrol. Basically I gotta color it. All of it's written out and everything, which you'll see later, about like 4 or 5 hours kind of thing. At most 10, even if I work into the evening hours working on it. But yeah, I just figured, because of all that stuff glows in the dark, so it's hard to film that in the day and then show you what's glowing in the dark. So I felt like this was the best use of my time with the sunlight. And it still allows me to have a snack in between. Fat boy! Proud. But that weight was useful to me in basketball, football, and hockey, though. That's why I have great hand-eye coordination. Alright, we're moving along. We're getting halfway. So this should go quickly, and then I'll at least take that one apart. I at least want to grab, might heat up my coffee here. What's funny is these nipples are holding into this rim, but this rim is actually one I'm getting rid of, so it's actually a good point of not keeping it in here. Now thinking about it. Ugh. So prepare for noises as I get around, kind of thing. Yeah, because these nipples are sexy. They're not mutilated or anything like that. They're nice and smooth, so I could reuse them. Probably on that rim. But I don't know, this is exciting now. Put it off for several months. But there's something righteous about this. Well, I put it off for several reasons. I was missing a couple of tools, and I was just fixing what I could fix, which was just replacing spokes on rims. But actually getting down and dirty and fixing it right, I don't know. Should all work out. And then, man, yeah, just already seeing the clearing of the space is great. I got 2 spare front rims as well that are sitting. Well, actually, 1 spare front rim that's sitting, because I'm taking apart the second one. So, like I said, doing pretty good. In the end, I'll have to remake 4 rims, but 1's already built. Have to build these other 3, 2 of which are road ready. The other 2 will need the bearings from Home Depot, wherever I go, closest. I don't know if I got a Ace Hardware or, I don't know, we got a couple of good mom and pop shops here, whether it's like, well, Grogan's does wood and stuff, but that's down the street, but either way, there's places to do it. And what a lot of you don't even know, there's even a third bike that I haven't even used that works fine. There's a chain right there sitting for it, to where once I put that chain on, it can ride, so I have motivation to get the multiple rims going. Air tubes, however, have been interesting though, but they mainly have failed just because of spokes on my end. I haven't been taken out by too much field stuff for a minute. I think that one video I did where I'm changing my tire there, over there by Wayside, is actually where I filmed that one. This is the first time where really something really came through and got it, that piece of glass and that splinter of all things. Whereas my friend kept telling me, the plastic, that piece of plastic. I was like, was that what it was? I was like, I figured it was a splinter, but either way. There's moments in life where you need to sit still and just take it in and enjoy it. So, that's how it goes. Oh yeah, I recently found free pizza from Domino's and Little Caesars, so. Mainly the breadsticks from Little Caesars. I love those. Oh, and then I got a bunch of kolaches from Shipley's. So that was the free food I found recently, other than the grocery store finds. But yeah. Otherwise, I bought bananas, bread, celery, milk, and orange juice from the grocery store like 4 days ago. Spent $7. Otherwise, making it all work. See, like I said, I knew these would be the easier ones to do, so I started off with the hardest ones. So yeah, find the bearings. My friend Ignacio said he would help me with that, but I still want to go and see if I can find thicker bearings. I have no problem getting like the OEM parts, but if I can find thicker versions of what I'm using, in case it's my excess weight that's knocking them out, especially if I'm doing deliveries. I'd like to try to see if I can engineer that. Like how I did with that 52 teeth gear on my mountain bike. It has a speed bike gear, but it's a mountain bike, which is how I'm able to get above 10 miles an hour. As the normal gearing on the R&D bike really only hits at like 10, 12 miles an hour. But because I got the 52 teeth gear on my mountain bike Raphael, that's how I can get up to 17 miles an hour. I've seen like 17 and 21 and stuff. I've accepted I can go 15 miles an hour when I'm gunning it. I haven't allowed myself anything more than that. I know my resting speed is 13 miles an hour on Raphael. I'll even say a low conservative of 11, but as long as you're getting double-digit speeds, when you're in a city like Houston that's 60 miles wide, I mean, it's amazing. Because if you haven't seen, I want to redo my Derry Ashford ride to downtown, because I know I can get from that point in Derry Ashford to City Hall in an hour, and I'd just like to see that video like tick over at 600, you know? So I want to do that one again. But I got 2 other good videos coming to you. I'll go ahead and tell you the one. It'll be Alameda. I just want to show a cool video out of the one street that is primarily straight and still leads into town, because that video is going to be cool. Because the way it goes is that if you go into town on Alameda, you just see the buildings come closer and they get bigger, and downtown never, views out of the camera view. So that's the plan for that video. And then I got a good north side one that comes off of Cross Timbers, so leading you into downtown. So those 2 are coming, some time and distance videos with that. I have thought about doing beating the green line, just because I've done it a lot. But there are times where that green line can beat you as well. So it's sort of like one of those perfect situation ones where if it looks right, I'll film it. Otherwise, not too sure if that's something I want to be promoting, kind of thing. But I don't know. I think it'd be kind of cool to show I could beat the green line. Although typically the trains will beat you. The buses, for whatever reason, are easy to beat, as I've proven on that Derry Ashford ride. The most I've beaten on that Derry Ashford ride, or that Westheimer ride, from Derry Ashford and stuff to downtown, was 4 city buses in 42 minutes. So, I had to get to a doctor's appointment. So that's how I know I got it done in the time that I did, because I woke up needing to be somewhere in 58 minutes, and I got there with 7 minutes to spare. So, I didn't have a headwind that morning, but all in a day. Yeah. Woo. Oh, this is exciting. Might take a moment, get the water and coffee going at least. I don't know, I could finish that one and then I could really be like, alright, take a break. Because at least everything would be disassembled that you need. Because everything from here would just be assembly. But, like I said, I'm doing this now so I can clean my hands to do artwork later. And with it being like 100 degrees already, there's nothing worth looking at out there. I got pretty things to look at, but otherwise, I've already spent my 8-10 weeks in 100-degree heat, only to be told too slow for Uber. So, once you know you can't satisfy someone, you stop trying. DoorDash loves me though. They usually make more money off that than Uber anyways. But at least Uber stopped with the vindictiveness and actually gives you more than one run an hour, where you can make like minimum wage. Because you got to think about the people who do that job that need it to pay for rent, you know? They're depending on that, whatever, $100 to $400 a week they're able to make, whether they're driving or on a bike. Just to be able to pay rent, to have $60 left over to pay for the cell phone bill, and that's it. It's just how it goes. In a weird way, it's like that Fight for Liberty series on the History Channel, forget trying to get even. We can't even get paid enough to keep up. But that's where they want. And then they want us to save. Like, I don't know, it's this whole, I don't know. For me, it's like we've been listening to computers since the 70s, so how do we know that everything has been a human thought? And the computers haven't been slowly engineering everything to their own advantage. That's just crazy, but either way. But we do have to take honest in it because we've started using computers since the 60s and 70s. So anything we have designed and built has been computer assisted in some way. So, it is interesting. At least building architecture. There hasn't been a day where someone's used a 3-sided ruler in a minute. Or a contractor's ruler, at least. Or a drafting ruler, or an architect's ruler. It's got a lot of names I found out over the years. Alright, how bad is this rim? Oh, that's as bad as that one. Okay, I don't think I'm bad in getting rid of those two. Give it to my metal guy. Let him get some 50 cents out of that. He'll slide me $1 at least. That's what I'd be doing with all the spare metal, by the way. I give it to the metal guys and they give me at least $1 or whatever. I don't care. In the name, in the spirit of a man that I met once called a Nook. I was like, man, why did we stop naming people and stuff like that? Nook. With his famous catchphrase when it came to anything. Be like a Nook. Like, why did you do that? I don't care. Rings in my head still to this day. I have those moments where you're like, did they see my healed side? Or did they see the fucking, you know, the warrior within? And I get that little bit of a nook in my head going in, being like, you know, is this situation important? You don't care! Don't care enough to deal with these people's bullshit. So you just keep on wandering. Alright, so we got one good spoke. I didn't realize that there was 4 broken spokes when I hit that curve. Is it raining? I know we were supposed to have some showers. Huh. Well, would you look at that? Alright. Currently raining, everyone. Didn't notice it right off the bat. Oh man, if anyone's been noticing all these trains being left on, you know, certain intersections here and there and stuff like that in the Houston area, everyone acts like it's not a big deal. Oh, just deal with it. I want to bring up an episode of Breaking Bad in which they stole, you know, the liquid methane out of the train. Same thing. You have a train that stopped at areas for over an hour. How do you know no one has messed with it or, you know, committed terroristic activities, or put tracking devices on it, or, you know what I mean? It's being, you know, it's sitting there unsupervised at a very public access point. Like, they don't even have to get into the rail yard to touch, you know, these chemical tanks and oil tanks and everything and so forth. So, you know, not to be all 9/11 paranoid, but what is stopping someone driving up, you know, let's call it Eastwood, going right up to a trailer and putting a device, whether it be a tracking device or an explosive, you know? Like, we had that criminal dude or whatever escape out of Galveston, right, out of that hospital, and somehow made it to Seattle. I'm pretty sure he hopped a train. And he probably got on the train that was at a public crossing sitting for 3 hours. So, you know, the danger of the rail cars not being in the rail yard is a real issue. I know some people are like, oh, people are just complaining about traffic. I think it's a huge security risk and issue, especially with a border town like Houston, where we got people coming, or when we got trains going in and out of Mexico and in and out of Canada via Chicago, you know, Chicago and everything else type of thing. So, I don't know. I think it's an issue with the trains sitting at the crosswalks for national security, not just public and nuisance. That's where I sit. And I know I'm just doing dead air commentary, but I also know AI is listening to everything someone says. So, some point, some way, someone at NSA is going to get what I just said, and then I'm hoping that will relieve the traffic pressure along like Cullen Boulevard and everything and so forth. So, I love my country, so I'm allowed to be paranoid and thinking of ways of how to protect it, even if no one else is. But that's part of momentum technologies, man. Life moves forward, not backwards. So I got 30 again out of this one. It's like 31 because this one's stuck to the hub, but that's not an awful thing. Don't need this one in action, so I can put this one in the parts bin. Which I can put a couple other stuff in as well. But these spokes, I'm convinced, are of a lower gauge than the rest, so I am going to separate them. Or, if anything, I'm going to use them on the non-cassette side, so if they break, I don't have to take the whole wheel apart to fix it. But yeah, because it's like, these two hubs are broken. I don't know. I got some stuff for the parts bin. Let me just put these hubs and stuff in there. Oh. This one's going to get used, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to put it with this guy. That way it matches the motif, since this is the same rim as that. These two rims came off a bike I no longer have, but I stripped all the parts off of. So boom, re-spoke it. Boom, Harley Quinn is back in action. And then, just go ahead and do this. Planning everything. And this guy is going to get the hub from this and get put on Raphael, which is sitting in front of me. So, I don't know. I think that works out pretty well. And I think in a bit of coup d'etat, I'm going to try to get this one undone real quick. And then move some parts around. Otherwise, thanks for the support and everything. Love you guys. No worries. I know it's been a minute. The rim in which I first started biking in Houston on. So if any of you remember me in the early days before the Lincoln Grill, this is the rim I was using. And then once I got the Lincoln Grill, I was using this. Really, I was using this rim from, what was it, 2016, 2017 to 2022. So I got 5 years out of it before I gave up fixing every little thing I could on it and just started finding rear rims, give myself a break. But it was one of those things where I'm pretty sure this rim is bent, so whatever additional pressure I was putting on this bike to try to keep that rim straight was just not helpful at all. So, I think it'll be okay. It's already halfway. Damn, I had like 10 broken spokes on this thing. That was a hell of a thing. That was crazy when this thing broke too. So what it was is I was on a, what had happened was I was basically on like a little crosswalk in like an apartment complex, right? And it was one of those things where it was just like I was coming, I was riding, and then it was one of those things where someone came out of a stairwell. And to be nice, I just rode off. But right when I rode off, it was like all at once, like bing! And I just saw those 5 broken spokes. I got so fucking angry. I threw the bike and then I carried it home. Like I was like a mile. It was like a mile or 2 from the house, but I was so mad. I was like, why did I have to be nice? Give courtesy. Like, ugh. I could have just been an asshole, pushed him out off the walkway, and I would have not had a broken bike, but that's how it goes. Rather be my honest self than anything else. I like being kind. I find it in this world that not many people are. So. Works for me. Alright, got the sun coming out. Or it might be just going in and out, but that's kind of neat. We got some rain. Help water the plants, I know that much. Gave me a solid But I think that might be a sign from the universe and the God himself. Let me know. Wanted me to take care of my home and stop rushing to do finished tasks when there's stuff that I have to do itself. That, my friend, I will always enjoy. I also am a little mad that I've had these bikes on their seats for a long time because technically if there's a hole in the top of the tube, that grease will start to slide down it. And so after like your first day of riding, whatever grease you packed in there will eventually get packed down, but it does take like a day of it sitting. It will roll back. But I haven't seen any grease come out, so I should be okay. I have both bikes, I should state. Da-da-da. But this one's coming along nice. And then yeah, I'm gonna at least heat up the coffee. And get my cup of water going. Might even get a dollar Frosty, honestly. Even though I don't want to go out in the elements. I might get that Frosty. Ooh! Listen to me burp. Definitely fun. Always an adventure. Yeah, I don't know if I'll paint tonight. I know I'm working on HSC stuff. So, I might paint tomorrow morning kind of thing. But I want to at least get the second HSC comic drawn, which is Citizen Disassist is the name of it. I think it's going to be day 33 of the HSC being homeless. Because Drone Force is day 11, I think I wrote. It's either day 11 or day 17 is Drone Force. Because that's the thing with the HSC too. So episode 1 is day 1, episode 2 is day 2, episode 3 is day 3, but episode 4 is day 71. And because episode 5 is day, I think it's 86. And that's a Get Smart reference for Maxwell Smart, since he was Agent 86. Also a poker term for mainly Texas Hold'em, but when you're playing 2-card or whatever, you get an 8-6, otherwise known as like the dead man's hand. Well, Ace 8 is like a dead man's hand, but 86 is another one too. So it became known as the Maxwell Smart because he was Agent 86. And of course his partner was Agent 99! You want to know why that voice sounds familiar? The guy who did the show Get Smart did the voice of Inspector Gadget. Penny! I couldn't think of another character on that show other than Claw. And all I got from him is Gadget! That's about it. Not even raspy enough for it. Drink some more hard liquor, you'll get it done. Too bad I don't. That's the worst part. Everyone realizing how sober you are with all the crap you say. Then they have to keep, for whatever reason, that keeps them up at night. Doesn't bother me. Alright. This one's going along nice. Yeah, because after this, put it together, it shouldn't be too hard, but it won't be as streamlined or quick. So, I'm going to at least get the water intake and hop on the coffee. Man, I have been thinking about that Frosty though since I've said it. It might be worth a walk. It might be worth a walk. There's not a Wendy's close, but it's travelable. It's transversal. It's transversible. Not sure if that's a word either. But it can be done. I think it's like 3 miles away. Oh, shit. I could hit the bus and then go right to the front door of it. We'll walk to the bus stop. Either way. That's an hour away. A mile away. But, done right, you could make this like a 30-minute hour trip, which would be a nice little break from doing this. Sure, I've been streaming that long, too. Wow! 80 minutes. So, yeah. And then, yeah, I would say in the next 40 minutes, I would have one rim done. So, that's cool. Might take a break. Might not. Weird to think I've been sedentary for an hour. Man, another moment of dead space where I just get into the focus, doing what I'm doing. It's when I'm at my best. But okay, I don't know. I'm kind of really excited about reuniting this. Although this fix probably only lasts a day before I break a spoke, but I don't know. I'm not gonna give up. Not giving up on it. Not at all. But it should go good. See, I can take out some parts. I'll feel better because it won't feel as crowded, so I'll feel good. All the other tires you see in the background are just tires that can be used. Like, the tread ain't worn down or anything like that. So, anything I keep in the house is still usable and have some value. I do feel good collapsing a lot of these now. Yeah, because, okay, I'll have those two rims that'll be, rebuild the axles on, and everything should be fine. Like I said, take off the one tire. Dang, I might just need to rebuild that one, get Harley Quinn back. Give Raphael a minute. Although I love using Raphael, it's my fastest bike. Like I said, there is reasons for the madness of everything. But I like Harley Quinn. It's lighter and works really well. It's also curious looking at the construction of that bike that was done in like 2020 or 2025. And then looking at the construction of that bike that was done in 1995 and seeing the 30-year difference kind of thing. Other than it just getting cheaper with parts, or smaller and lighter. It's not too much of a difference. Obviously it's older and heavy, but so am I. So, can't help but have an affinity, if not a loyalness to that. But I do want to pick up my area, though. I got stuff everywhere I don't need. And that, again, as I've said before, a bit of collusion and chaos will get to someone. Oh, is this what we're doing now? At the very end, all of a sudden? You should have loosened it before you got this close, buddy. Thanks. But yeah, I had a buddy ask me, he's like, why don't you stop using spokes? And I was like, you find me the rim. It's like, I ain't got the money. Nor am I being given the money, so unless you find it on the side of the road or being thrown away, I ain't got nothing for you. Is how it works. I don't mind doing the boring stuff. I found out a long time ago, or at least it was how my great-grandfather taught me, was have a million uses for your hands and you'll never starve. So I've never let anyone best me because I refuse to learn the subject matter. Golly, that looks bent, even just in the camera. Let's see how we do. There we go. I'm still gonna hold on to it, but nah. God, that's gonna be really annoying if I could just get that sort of bent back into place. Because, man. I don't know, we'll work on that, but let's go ahead and get everything put aside. Clean up some messes here. Like I said, a tidy work area. Or one of the, I'm a journey, or, technically I'm a master carpenter, but either way, registered journeyman carpenter at least. I could do work on my own. I was told at a job site I was one of the best equipment managers they've ever seen, because they never lost anything, but I was always organizing shit. Very much like James May, but not as annoyingly, though. Not like in the middle of the work I was reorganizing everything, so. How it goes. That's a good nipple, too. I gotta get that one off. That one's coming off with ease. Spin the nipple. Coming to you by Hasbro, or Nabisco, or Parker Brothers. I guess Nintendo? They make board games. That counts. The sun might be coming back out. But hey, at least the plants got some rain. Does remind me I gotta water some, but it's okay. Golly. Broken. Kind of don't like that I don't know, I do like that I took that hole apart. I don't think it was even scoped right, too, so. It's a fucked up spoke. These are broken, but the nipples are nice. See if I can save them. Real quick. Once I lose the tool. Also, I'm using one of those shop chairs where you can move around in. But it just reminded me that the wheels are a little sticky, so if I do take this break, I'm gonna go hit that WD-40 on these wheels and let them get some free movements back. But see if I get the nipples out of this, and I'll get some parts out of the way. I don't know if I need the rubber to seal up any entryways, like doorways or windows in my place. That is sort of why I saved it, but I'm trying to think if there's something else I need that rubber for before I get rid of it. Nothing comes to mind, really. Car horns. Alright, so the children are making a mess now outside. That's always fun. But we're doing well. We're doing well. I don't know. That's so weird to me. It's like flat. So I got 3 working rims out of that? It's never enough! Okay. Alright. At least I got parts, though. Don't have to spend hours online looking at stuff. Probably one of the best benefits of it all. So let's see. Even though I was like, oh, I don't want all this mess and clearing up this area over here. Technically, everything is good. That guy's nice and flat. This rim's good. These guys are done. Mommy, don't throw the pizza pans! Basically got these rims. Kinda would like to put away all these cassettes, but I just don't know yet. I don't know what rims I want to use out of that just yet. Most of the parts I've been holding on to at least. I didn't put that back on. You're trash. Ugh. That's a thing too. I'd like to rebuild this guy too. So I might not put it in the parts bin and leave it out. So I can leave at that. Put away this. Basically that. Keeping this out and about to use. So keep a lot of these things in here, I guess. Come on. It's like an Adam Sandler thing. Everyone get home. There we go. There we go. Just trying to put you in one spot real quick. Shikasha. Alright. I don't need these pieces anymore. I can kind of get rid of them. But I feel like one of them helps get one of these off. I don't know which of these I'm not using yet. So, might as well leave them out. This is the rear rim. Or yeah, the rear I'm using. All the nuts and bolts of everything that's come on. Using this as a little party tray and trying to keep it all. Otherwise, Maybe not as dirty as I thought, but it is good to organize your tools. This guy's still working. Oh, I don't know. Do I put the original rim on or not? Ah, that's such a mind fuck now. Where I just don't even know what to do with that. It's so crazy to me. Oh, it really looked bent as hell. And then I'm wondering why was it bent that badly. So, oh, do one more thing. Well, I guess that's the truth. I need to figure out what one I do want to put on, and I can put the other four away. So that will work. But this guy has an air tube and tire of great. Basically, there's a nice bit of tread on this tire, and the tube's still good. So if anything, I'll just put this on. I don't know. I don't know which bike will get it. I got enough rear tires to put on the other one. Yeah, what is that? Got two there. Got two fronts and a rear there. Oh, my neighbor's doing laundry. I guess it's all part of that bed thing he was doing. Are you flat enough to get out of the tire? Ooh, I certainly hope so. Any more air? Nope. Alrighty. And yeah. Were you the one with the working washer? I don't look like it. One of these has the working washer. I think it is this one. So that'll be the one I take to the store and pick up some washers and put some of these wheels back together. But like I said, I need a working bike to get there. Although I just said I can get to the store, or I can take a bus, get to a Wendy's, get a Frosty, which means at the same time I can also go to the store and get the washers. But where's the fun in that? Apparently with the extra nipples that were riding around. How were you not popped by that? Oh wait, there's a broken spoke in here. Where is it? There it is. And I went there. Seems silly to do, but... Well, you now got two tires and two air tubes that are ready to go. Wunderbar! Perfecto, bueno! Yeah, no. I got two rears I can put on. We'll need to find some abandoned bikes and take their tires from. You'd be surprised what bikes are thrown away with good tread too. There's usually bikes with really good parts just sitting out there. No one knows really what to do. Okay, this is a working washer. Okay, I just gotta somehow get this thing off. I don't know, this rim might be dead too, honestly. That one cap piece I threw away might have been important. I'm so busted though. Yeah, that's working. Oh my goodness. Please tell me you're getting closer. Are you all the way in? No. Even if my friend Ignacio gets the right parts or whatever, it'll still be fine. Basically, two good rims that need to be put back together. But also, just surprised at how well I'm destroying these things too. If anyone else is curious as well, I'll get a month or two, and then they're just completely no longer rideable. I don't know. I can also look up a diagram too and see if there's parts I'm missing. Bearings, of course. But, oh my goodness, is it coming out or not? I don't even think it is. I'm wasting my time on this one. Totally what happened. Alright, where's my trusty? Let's make it work. Oh, you bitch and a half. Alright, well, I'm done messing with you then. Ooh, I gotta get a socket in there and make something sexy happen. But in the meantime, give me a little spin. There we go. Voila. Alright, I can deal with that. That's enough retention for my ego. And then before we call it a day. Alright, yeah, so I don't need you. You can go in the parts. Kind of thing. Already got one not working. I'm gonna try to reuse the parts I use. I don't think you need to be in my way though every day. And then, like I said, I could still tear apart that rim and just be done with it too. I'm okay with that as well. But the main part of what I was getting into, which one of these I do want, annoying me with in my life. Which one is? Which one am I liking the most? This one will have 7 gears. It's okay. Off to a bad start already. Seven gears seems fun. Okay, that's an option. I'm pretty committed to putting Raphael's original gearing back together again. Okay, I'm okay with that one. Although I probably won't like it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Another 7. Are these all 7s? Is Raphael 5 or 6 then? Oh, I ain't using you if I can't get this thing in here. Nope, you get to go in the part bin. That was easy. This is some heavy metal too. I could probably hand this to the metal guys as well. Oh no, I can harvest the bearings out of it. Okay, we got a fiber here. Looks like it'll work, but it looks like it's a bitch to get off though. Okay, no. I think you're a 6 though, but I like this guy. I want to keep this one. Let me see. No, Raphael was on a 6. Okay. Don't want to use you. You look. Oh no, you're a 6 now. Watch you be the original one for this as well. Might be the one. What was it I said I didn't want? I didn't want the fibers where I'm at with this. I like this one. Instead, I didn't want to use. Yeah, it was this one I didn't want to use, right? Yep. Oh wow, I remember you. Part of the red wheel. And you're kind of annoying. Alright. Well, that was easy. So, what am I stuck on? Old Rusty here? Which I kind of like. Has the most teeth. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh yeah, because it was 7. I feel like I would mess with that with Raphael since I know it has the spacing. Let's just say I like this one, but I can put it away. So that means I'm using you. Is where we're at. Okay. Sweet. There's nothing wrong with decluttering, trust me. Next word. Oh! And just like that, this is where you do that as I'm running around getting it done. Oh! Let's heat up this coffee. So, I've got the cassettes, rear axles I need. Rear axles I need. So yeah, all we're left doing is spoking the wheels and putting these 2 bikes back on the road. That's where we're at. That's where we're at. But nothing too bad. Oh, look at these hands. But I think with that, a little bit of maintenance, and getting all the trash together, probably don't even look like anything changed, but I'm cool with it. Because otherwise, it's just tearing apart that wheel. And there really ain't no point. It only needs a spoke and it works. The other ones did need to go. Those were bent. So, that is not lost on me at all. That all went well, pretty well. So I don't know. Probably take a break with it. But that's just some basic bicycle maintenance there. Getting out the free parts. With the stuff you don't have to pay for. But yeah. It all works out pretty well. Yeah, otherwise I'm gonna get that coffee, I think. Ah shit, let me just get that going. Let's not make a decision without the coffee ready. That is Nigel Farage. That is where I'm stealing that from. I got, what is it? I got Noel Fielding and Richard Alwadi in my head or whatever. I think that was their episode. No, I think it was Richard and David Mitchell, and it was Scary Spice. I can't think of her name. Right off the top of my head. My favorite Spice Girl, but not make a hasty decision with the least out of thought. Well, I know I'm not using these parts. I can put them in the storage bin with everything. Yeah, because I don't know if I really want to tear apart that other wheel. These two wheels are fine. But this will at least go in storage, if not throw it into the spare parts. All right. I can make a nasty whip of this. Woo! Now my collection of tape. Racket stuff. Got Days of Our Lives going on the TV. I did have the news going on in the background, so as I was working, keeping abreast of the day, if not road closures and such. But just keeping this one out for one of these rims whenever we get them put together. Yeah. Otherwise, he's going here. I just do it like this. I like keep track of it all. So, yeah. Don't look too bad. Alright, let me get this coming. Help my worried mind. Ooh. Ha! That's hysterical. The Yeti Cup, the original Stanley. I'm trying to think of what was before Yeti, too. Might have been Igloo. They had those chest things I remember for cool stuff. I'm trying to think of. Well, we had thermoses for hot stuff before everything got all this. It's where it is now. I think it's after this. Yeah, because the only thing I would do is just take that rim apart just because I don't want to use it anymore. But there's no need for it. It's perfectly fine. So, yeah. Otherwise, rebuild those two rims and, yeah, I'll have these bikes working in no time. But I really might take a break. I have really been sitting here for like 2 hours working on this, so give myself not a moment to be hunched over. I think it's fair even though it's still raining, but that might be just what the doctor ordered. Yeah, I think that's fair. We'll get it done. Oh. Yeah, with that, I'm going to wash my hands. Otherwise, guys, peace and jaw love. Catch you when I do. And remember, don't give up on yourself.